right. Welcome to Startup with Ferris live stream. Thank you for tuning in. What's new in the world of entrepreneurship? Well, we've been talking about AI, and my focus is on helping small businesses leverage tech in general and specifically AI. See, AI is the buzzword of the decade. I think everybody knows that by now, and for good reason. Goldman Sachs predicts that global AI investment will approach $200 billion by 2025, this is next year. And then and we're seeing businesses race to leverage this game-changing technology. And if you read the headlines, I mean, there's so many conflicting, contradicting stories. You have this is recent, this last couple of days. Chief AI scientist, he said that these existential warnings about AI are complete BS, and he's arguing that the current systems are no smarter than a house cat. So that's one side of it. The other side, some of the AI pioneers, including a professor, I think it's the University in Montreal, uh, Joshua Benjo, he warned about the dangers of AI in a new interview. And he's, again, one of the pioneers, right? And he's saying that humanity is on a path of creating monsters that could be more powerful than us. So I will leave this philosophical debate for other settings. They're important, but for now, I want to focus on what you and I can benefit from and how we can help our businesses today, this week, and this month. And if you haven't watched or listened to our last episode, we covered how to use AI for small businesses to outperform your competitors. Today, on the other side of it, I want to cover another aspect on what I believe some people are getting wrong, uh, the gotchas in how to use AI safely. Because I see some people, you see posts on LinkedIn, you talk to people, some believe that some are abandoning AI altogether, not good in my mind, and others, they see AI as a magic wand that will fix every business problem with just a few clicks. But that's a huge mistake. And I think these mistakes don't just lead to inefficiency, they lead to major failures. So today, I'm going to expose the gotchas, the common traps that people fall into when they're using AI. I'll also show you what not to use AI for, and then we'll break down how to use it safely and effectively so you can get results that matter. So, before we dive in, as always, a couple things to keep in mind. Whether you are watching or listening live or tuning in later, I'd love to hear from you. I want to know more about the struggles you're going through. I want to know about the challenges that you're trying to overcome. I want to know about your wins, small or big. And we've built a community now. I'd love to hear from you. You can DM me directly. You can email us at Startup with Ferris. You can leave us a comment on whichever platform you're on, but do let us know how things are going with you. And then if you have a specific topic or a specific question you'd like us to cover, we have these live streams every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. So leave us a comment, leave us a question. I'll be more than happy to answer it on these live streams. And then again, if it's something very personal, something very specific, happy to send you a personalized email with a reply that hopefully will help. And then last but not least, at the end of this live stream, I'll also give you a quick update on what we're doing on Black Belt Startup, our online coaching and mentoring program, and some of the new modules that we've just recently uploaded and are accessible to the members. Awesome. So let's jump in and just a quick technology check. I think we're all good. So let's jump right in. And I think we have some slides on this. So let's show these slides. So in terms of the gotchas, right? So I think these are, there's some hitting traps that are costing people time, money, and even their reputation. So if you think the first gotcha is uh, some people treat AI as a magic solution for everything. I mean, some folks think that AI is a silver bullet. Just throw some data at it, enter a prompt, and boom, it'll solve everything. I want you to think of AI like a specialist tool, like like a hammer. If you need to drive a nail, hammer is perfect. But imagine using a hammer to fix your car engine. That is a disaster waiting to happen. So how do we, let's give an example from business. So if you want to write, let's say you want to just you want to publish content on social media, on your blog, on your website. So I see a lot of tips from experts out there on, yeah, just here's a prompt, have a very thorough prompt, and then AI can give you content for your website. I understand that you can have an amazing prompt that gives more context about your brand, your business, the problem you're trying to solve. But if you're going to just put a prompt in Chat GPT or Gemini or what have you, and then get that output and put it on your website, like what value have you added? Like where are you adding your own stories, your own emotions, your own authentic experiences? I mean, it makes no sense to me to just go and use AI that way. Is you just think, again, this is the first gotcha, that it's just a magic wand that you can just ask it something, it'll give it to you, and then you can use it and share it with others. I use AI in our companies. We use AI. I use AI to help me brainstorm. We talked about this last week. I don't want to go over it today, but there's just, I think, some common sense that's missing, or we just, I think, in this speed and this time where we need to do things quickly, and we have so much going on, we just kind of take, I think, the lazy easy route, and just expect AI to give us this amazing content that you can then put on your website, and then expect your website, your content to rank high and for people to read it and convert. It doesn't happen. Again, use AI, as we discussed last week, but don't just expect it to solve all your problems, or just ask it to do something and then it's a silver bullet. So the takeaway here, it's AI isn't a catch-all. If you can't define the problem clearly, don't expect AI to do it for you, and you have to, again, put some a lot of thoughts into how you use it. Now this leads us to the second gotcha, and that is on blindly trusting AI output. So it's one thing to just expect it to do something for you, and then the other thing is here to expect that everything it's going to output, and again, whatever technology you're using, is this is applicable. um, AI, you should always question what you're getting. AI is often treated like an oracle. You just take whatever it gives you, but it could be wrong. It has been wrong, and when it's wrong, it could be really, really wrong. I'll give you an analogy. I think I know, like, think of it as a GPS. Most of the time it's accurate, but if you blindly follow it without checking the road signs, or if there's an accident that is not yet in the GPS, you can end up on a dead end street, or maybe go off a cliff. So you have to use your senses. You have to be aware of the surroundings. You have to understand what's happening around you. I think one of the kind of, if we use this blindly, this is more applicable, or this happened in big companies, but some of these things could happen in small businesses as well. A few years ago, I think there was an infamous, yeah, it was Amazon. There was an infamous case where um, Amazon had a tool, internal tool for hiring, and that algorithm, like, everybody wanted to use it because it helps you sift through like 100 resumes, and it gives you the top 3 or 4 or 5, and then it makes the job of the hiring manager really easy. But the problem is, it ended up downgrading resumes that mentioned women's chess club. So what happened there is that the training data behind the algorithm was biased. It was sort of reflecting, at the time, the company's male dominated hiring history. So people were discriminating unknowingly, in a way, and they were blindly trusting what the issue, the biases that were already in existence, and it was just a something that was later uncovered, of course, and then it was corrected. But blindly trusting this data meant you're reinforcing some biases, or maybe you're reinforcing some data, or you're reinforcing some aspect that are just wrong. So How do you apply that to your business, your own business? I think always validate AI outputs with a human check, especially when you have some high stake decisions. All right. The third gotcha here is on thinking AI can run without oversight. So this is related to the previous one, and this may be a bit more advanced and for businesses that are deploying their own custom AI. And again, this is not just for big companies. You have a lot of applications now. You can go and get an AI agent, let's say a customer support agent or a chat box on your a chat bot on your website and on your app to answer questions from customers. Again, these tools are accessible for small businesses, but for these tools to work properly, they need data. They need, for example, maybe your FAQs. You need your company policy on customer support. You need maybe history, that transaction or a history log of communication with the client. And there's a whole lot of process to get that data ready, and there's some training. Again, all of this, I'm not just saying this on how, like if I go to Bank of America or West Fargo, and you know they have their own customer support agents in there. It's all AI based, but for small businesses, there are tools. There are tools where you can easily deploy some of these technologies. But the underlying data that you offer, that you provide to these tools, is something you have to provide. Excuse me. So you can't just feed it some data and kind of sort of set it and forget it. You have to make sure that you are updating that data that is going into these chatbots. Again, this is just one example on how small businesses could be using AI, but I want you to make sure that you are aware of this gotcha, that you kind of set it and forget it. It's not the case at all. Okay, so the takeaway here is that the underlying data that you're using, again, this is more of an advanced case, as I said earlier, but this, if you're using AI internally within your business or for customer support, or maybe like as a sales, there's a sales agent, um, you need to make sure it's regularly updated. Going through this process of having some sort of a human supervision involved in this process. So those were the three gotchas. Now we go into what not to use AI for. Excuse me. And that's, things you want to avoid using AI for. I mean, creativity is one. I know there are a lot of tools. Oops, I have some technology issue here. Sorry, 1 second. Not sure. I guess, yeah, we're still live. Okay, sorry about that. Um, yeah, back to programming. So in terms of what to avoid, what not to use AI for, think of number one is creativity driven tasks. Now I know some of you would say, wait a second, there are all these tools out there where you can just have a quick prompt and then you get an image. You can get even a video. There's something now I just read about this morning, Google Vids. It's, if you go to Google Drive and the drop down, how you create a file like a sheet or a Google Doc or a slide doc. Now you can create a Google Vid, and there are other ones out there. Adobe has, in their creative suite. So of course AI can assist with creativity. Now we see tools every other day, and very, very specialized tools. But in terms of, and you can use it to generate ideas and to brainstorm. And I know my friend Don, on the video side of things here at Startup with Ferris, he does some amazing work with AI. But if you're expecting to produce original art, music, breakthrough innovations, don't count on it. It's an assistant, yes, but it's not going to get that creative aspect out there. If I guess an analogy, if you're using a calculator to write a novel, it's not going to work. He'll give you some numbers, and maybe those numbers will, and those statistics, and and those would actually enrich the story, but the soul of the story, that's on you. So that's number one in terms of the how to balance using all these tools that, even on YouTube now, you can create a short, you can create a video, you can add AI in that video creation process, which is actually amazing. But in terms of like original art, there's still, humans still have agency. So keep that in mind. I think the other more practical aspect for most of us who are not, I guess, on the artistic side of things, handling ethical and sensitive matters or decisions. So you don't want to rely on AI for decisions that are involving, ethics or human emotions. There's lack of empathy. There's lack of context. Although some of the tools out there are getting better, much better at understanding context. I think I believe the paid version of ChatGPT as the time of this live stream, I think the window, the context window is 120K, meaning you can feed a system, you can feed like say Chat GPT, like 100, 200, 300 pages of context, and it will understand it. So it's pretty impressive, and this probably only get better. But still, in human relations, in emotions, in things like the medical aspect of things, like sensitive decisions in legal contracts, you shouldn't decide and develop things just purely in AI. If you're about to hire someone, if you're about to set up a contractor agreement or a customer, maybe like a statement of work, or maybe if you want to sell the business, you don't want to just go to Chat GPT and you can give it an amazing prompt, a very detailed prompt. Here's who I am, here's my business, here's who I'm targeting, here's what I'm trying to do, give me a contract. Yes, you can do that, and it will give you something that's pretty solid. But you could be missing some of the context in your prompt. It could give you some inaccurate information. It could be something that is maybe not up to date on the current regulations, legal regulations around hiring, around maybe taxation. So I think my advice here is that on sensitive decisions, on handling ethical matters, I think of AI, whatever tool you're using, more as a research tool, as an assistant. It'll give you some information, some data, consume it, read it, understand it, so you are better prepared. And then in the case of setting up an agreement, uh, go and hire a lawyer, work with an attorney to help you, to in a way also educate you on things that you might have missed in the way you prompted and you asked AI. So I think, again, the general guideline here is that use it. The goal of this live stream and last week's is that I'm not saying don't use AI. I'm not saying that's something you should abandon, and I'm also saying don't be all over it and think that it is a magic wand. Use it effectively. Use it, I would say, carefully in a way, and for sensitive decisions, uh, always keep a human in the loop. And the last part of today's live stream is on, and again, from folks who are with us, thank you again for being on this live stream. If you have a question, you have a comment, obviously we're talking about AI today, but if you have any other business comment, I think we have some time at the end of this live stream. So if you have any question on business, starting a business, growing a business, scaling a business, and if you have any question, happy to answer it. You can leave us a comment on whichever platform that you are on, and if we're not responding to, because sometimes the interface we're using that pulls data from all the different live streaming platforms, sometimes the comment doesn't come in time. So if we don't get to your comment on this live stream, we will answer it afterwards. But we appreciate you signing in, and we appreciate your questions and comments. And I'd love to hear from you how you are using or thinking of using AI in your personally, how you use it, and also in business. And if you run into some issues, I'd love to hear about your stories. So in terms of this last segment of this live stream is on how to use AI safely and effectively. We talked about the gotchas, we talked about what to avoid. So in terms of using this safely and effectively, I think first, start small and test constantly. And I always, in terms of technology adoption, I always tell founders, you have to lead by example in your business. So, and I'm not personally like sort of that bleeding edge. I want to adopt every new gadget, every new technology. I mean, I use it. I'm in Silicon Valley. At the end of the day, I have a technical background. I like to dabble with things. I like to read about things. I think that that keeps you updated, and you always find ways to improve your business when you're trying new things and learning from new technologies, and seeing how other people in your space are using technology. I think that's really important. So, but I want you as a business owner, as a leader, as a manager, start to use AI in your field. And again, based on some of these guidelines we provided last week and this week, and then test that. If you want to apply, how you're using AI, make it part of your process, and you want your team members to adopt that process, test it in a sandbox environment first. you know you don't want you don't want to just do some massive rollout, and especially on customer facing type scenarios, or on any sort of kind of customer interaction. You don't want to deploy some new technology and some new process without some testing. Even big companies do that. Like a lot of times when for example YouTube, when they're launching a new feature, they launch it to a small set of users, they get feedback, then they improve it. So that's what big companies do. I think small businesses can learn from that process of launching quickly and then iterating and then improving. So don't go in there with a huge big bang and then having all sort of issues. So start again, adopt it. Personally adopt it. I think use it, find information, get used to it, understand again how to use it safely and effectively, and then gradually start it on maybe a small process. Use automation. Use it in terms of ideation, in terms of maybe coming up with some research, like we're looking for some uh, to write a comprehensive guide on X, right? So you and your team brainstormed 20 ideas, and you can run those ideas by Chat GPT or Gemini and say, okay, like what else did we miss? So those, they're again very practical use cases that I covered last week. But the idea here is start small, use it personally, and then find maybe a small process in your company, apply automation, apply AI to it, then make it part of your workflow, and then maybe scale that. So that's one thing. The other thing here is maintain in that process that you are creating, maintain human oversight. Because as we said earlier, from the gotchas and what to avoid, even the best AI systems out there can go off track. So keeping humans in the loop ensures you catch excuse me, it ensures you catch these issues early on. So, and I am having some issues with my system here, so I apologize. So give me, sorry, 1 second. And I think we're back. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, we talked about starting gradually and gradually, and then second thing is maintaining human oversight. So I think you just have to make that part of your part of your process. Think of it as like a co-pilot. So maybe let it handle routine tasks, but then you are still the captain of the ship. And then the third piece is on building, I think, establishing guidelines and policies so that everybody is clear about how what's okay, what's not okay. And you see this even with publishers, WSJ or the Times or others. They say publicly on their websites that we use AI. Sometimes, like for example, some of these big publishers, they use AI to generate, like you have an article on topic X, and they have related topics or other articles we recommend. That's using machine learning algorithms. But also for their writers, for their editors, they, for example, say that things like, yeah, we use AI to brainstorm and create initial drafts and taglines and summaries, but humans are always involved, and the writers, because I know a lot of everybody talks about using AI in marketing. So it's easy to just go and prompt AI and have an article and post it on social media or post it on your website. So at the end of the day, the writer, uh, you are, as a writer, you are ultimately responsible for what you publish. So the key takeaway here is that make sure you have some guidelines, some policies for your company on how you use AI, what's okay, what's not okay. And again, you have to be very transparent about it, and you have to, again, lead by example. So that is on how to use AI safely and effectively. And again, we covered the gotchas, we covered what to avoid, and then, to summarize it, I think at the end of the day, think of it as a tool, think of it as an assistant. It could be your co-pilot. Use it. Don't be afraid of new technology. Don't use it blindly. Try it, even just if you want to have a business and you want to. I was just talking to someone who wants to expand to a new geography, different language. You can actually learn a lot more about things. You can even travel. It can help you translate things. I mean, there's so many effective use cases for AI, but for the business, I wanted to adopt it gradually, again, effectively apply it, test it on a small process, then scale that process. Make sure there's a human oversight at key points of this process, and then you'll be getting the most out of it, avoiding the gotchas we discussed earlier. That's it for today. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Sorry about the couple of technical glitches we had earlier. If you have any comments or any questions, let me know. And again, if they don't surface on my end, we will answer those comments and questions after the call. So before we end, just a couple of quick things. If you are liking this content, go to YouTube. Well, hit the like button on whichever platform you're on, but you can follow us on our social media, and then you can also check out our channel on YouTube at Startup with Ferris. Ferris spelled Feras, and we publish videos daily. And then we have shorts, and we have long format, all about entrepreneurship, from vetting the idea to business planning to working with accountants and working with lawyers to sales, marketing, HR, you name it. And then we also have our Black Belt Startup program. It's a complete curriculum on starting and growing and scaling your business to 7 and 8 figures. And we have over 100 modules that we are producing every week. We produce and publish 3 to 4 modules. We have a free course. You can complete the whole course in 1 hour, and then we have business hours where we can answer the specific questions that you have for us as you are consuming this material and as you are building your business. And it's with my background in martial arts, the entire course is built on core martial arts business and also business principles. It's about deliberate practice, about hard work, it's about focus. And again, my goal here is to help you start, if you haven't started yet, and then grow and scale your business to 7 and 8 figures. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not going to be an easy ride, but I want to make it easier for you. There's a lot of work involved, and we can show you the path to help you get to your destination. Again, there are no commitments on this. There's the free course, of course, and then there's the paid course. It's $499 a month, and it's a month-to-month, no yearly commitment. Happy to again see you check out the free course and let us know if you have any other questions. Again, thank you so much. And wait, it looks like we have a comment, so let me go and get it. Thank you, Mo, for joining. I appreciate it. It says, yes, this is the way I think about current AI as a highly enthusiastic, well-informed, but not very wise intern. They produce amazing results, all of which must be vetted. I love this analogy, Mo. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah. And Mo speaks from experience. He's in the heart of Silicon Valley here with a lot of years in marketing and in tech. So I love this analogy. Think of it as an intern, as an assistant. They might be very, they can produce results very quickly, and they're very enthusiastic, and they can give you just do a ton, a ton of stuff for you, but you have to vet what they are providing you. Thank you, Ma. I appreciate that. Good. I think that's it for today. And again, if you have any questions, You can reach out on any of our platforms. And if it's something very personal, something you don't want to maybe share publicly, feel free to email me at ferris@startupwithferris.com, and you can go on LinkedIn and direct message me, and I'll be more than happy to answer. Thank you so much, and see you next week.